Today marks Tim Cook's 5-year anniversary as Apple CEO. He took over after Steve Jobs resigned in 2011. Under Cook's leadership, Apple became the world's most valuable company. And with us now from CNET in New York is CNET editor Jeff Bakalar. Okay, Jeff, replacing Steve Jobs was pretty much a tall order, but 5 years later, how has Tim Cook cemented his legacy?
I think his legacy, at this point, looking at his career, is going to be defined as the more charitable, maybe nicer CEO than maybe what people were used to with Steve Jobs. I still think, he took the reins at a very sort of transformational time in the world of tech. And I think that his legacy has still been yet to define things like Apple Watch and the future of Apple Music and how that ties into their other ambitions when it comes to cars and smart connected devices like that. That will probably better define what his legacy winds up being.
So Apple's profits in these 5 years have soared, but have they come up with the kind of products that Steve Jobs himself was known for? Can Tim Cook compete on that front?
I think during his tenure, Tim Cook has been maybe more accused of sort of borrowing and leaning into what current trends are happening right now, maybe sort of playing catch up a couple times when it comes to other mobile technology. I think, when it comes down to it, he'll sort of have an easier go when it comes to, that money-making situation. You have that legacy that Steve Jobs obviously had a big part in. But it's a different time in technology. There really isn't that sort of room for massive innovation. And I think why people love Apple is that they sort of do things in increments, but they do them in a way that works really well and that people don't have to worry about. So I think continuing that philosophy is probably the biggest challenge for him, not stepping too far outside of what people normally expect from Apple.
No time for massive innovations, really? I mean, this is technology. Anything can happen. The future is unknown. Disruptors can arrive at any moment. With that as preface, what can we expect from Apple in the 5 years ahead?
I think the largest departure that you'll see from Apple is whatever they decide to wind up doing in the auto industry, whether or not they do have their own car or they sort of team up with an existing car manufacturer. That kind of remains to be seen. And I think we kind of gloss over the whole idea of music with them. Apple Music is not the most reliable sort of service that people sort of go to. It's ingrained into the Apple iOS ecosystem, so there is obviously a huge advantage there. But I think how that sort of shakes out, the relationship that Apple has with record labels and where music goes, will really decide whether or not Apple can have a stay in markets that are already really occupied by big brands like Spotify.
I was disappointed there wasn't a big back-to-school sale. I need a new laptop, Jeff.
Yeah, there's that, and then laptops we'll probably see really soon. But then you also got to think about that Apple Watch. That really hasn't yet been able to make the big sort of impact that they wanted to do. So we'll have to sort of see where that shakes out.
Jeff Bakalar, thank you.
Of course.